Okay, we should be live here. Let's see if this works. Let's give it a try. We've got a new setup here today, so not 100% sure if this is working, if it's going out, if anything is actually coming in, if we are live or not live, or what's going on. We're trying some new stuff today, so who knows how this is going to go. It looks like I'm showing up a little orange on my screen here, but we'll just have to deal with that. I've still got some adjustments to do on the lights. I've got to mute myself there on this laptop. We've been making some changes to our setup and our live stream and how we're doing things here. And so I'm in Studio 1A here at Jamerson. Not that there's a Studio 1B or Studio 2. This is the only studio we've got, but I'm trying to make it so that the live stream does not take up half of the office that we have here. So we're trying to condense it down a little bit. It's working well so far. We've still got a lot of setup to do, but we're going a little old school here. I don't have all the fancy graphics and all of that stuff that I normally have. We're working on those things, and we're going to try to kick the live streams back up sometime in February, definitely by March, to where we're having them every week, and we're looking to add some resources to actually bring you more videos more frequently. And Cal Evans has given me a hard time in the chat here about the Four Roses. Someone gave me this bottle of Four Roses, and I'm kind of out of things to drink in the office. So I'm down to like I've got a little bit. I may go get another bottle, but I figure it's something, right? It's something. I've got my ice ball here. Now this ice ball has been in the freezer since the last live stream. Y'all can look back and see how long that's been. So it's been in there for a while, but it should be good. It's ice, right? Like, how bad is it going to get? It is what it is. I've got Four Roses. I'm drinking Four Roses. That's just the nature of this beast here. And it's been a busy day. It's been a busy week. It's been a busy month. It's been a busy year so far. I haven't even had time to fix myself a drink, so I figured I would just do that on the stream here, and we would get down to business. All right, so people here in the chat, I'm reading in the chat. They can hear me. They can see me. That's good news. Like I said, it's a completely different setup here. I've got it to where, we had a lot of problems toward the end of the year, and it was a problem, so I had to get up and walk to it. I've got everything here within arm's reach. I've got keyboard and mice on the machine that's doing the streaming, so that I can actually pull it up and, actually modify it from here. I don't have to get up and run to a computer. But today, what we're going to talk about is I probably need to adjust. I want to adjust my lights here so that I don't look so orange. Let me do that while I've got you guys here. So let's see if that's way too bright. Way too bright. All right, so we're getting there. We're getting closer here. We're getting closer. It's still too bright, but I'll deal with that at this point. It is what it is, guys. We're testing. We're learning. I apologize for the crudeness of this particular live stream, but I've got something very important that I wanted to announce and I wanted to talk about, and I want to start actually getting some live or some active participants that are committed and engaged. Yeah, Trump vision. Yeah, I was looking a little bit like an Oompa Loompa. It's still a little orange. Like it doesn't look like that on my screen on the streaming rig. So I don't know if I've got a little color correction. For those that don't know, like, there are not trees behind me. This is actually all green screened in. I'll show you, let you in on my my secret here, but It's a green screen, right? And so this allows us to put any backdrop. I can have the same backdrop I had on the other live streams, and you can't really even tell. And so apparently something with the green is kind of shifting the camera color correction, and I'm coming out a little more tan than I would like, a little more spray tan than I would like, but we'll deal with it. So the topic du jour, the topic of the day that I wanted to talk about is what we're calling, and I need some votes. You guys, if you're watching this, post in the chat, let me know. Is it MageBallRun or is it CannonballGento? We got to make a decision on this. We have to make a determination on the name first and foremost. But what it is it serves several purposes. One purpose is I'm trying to find a way to dominate social media for the week leading up to Imagine. And you're going to have a lot of people participate, social networks, all of them, Facebook, Twitter, those kinds of things. They all work better if people are interacting with your posts. And once you reach a critical nexus of people interacting, it starts to spread out to other people in the network. It starts to get recommended. It becomes viral or semi-viral. It doesn't have to be a huge network effect to be semi-viral. And that's what we're looking for. And so there's a couple of different ways to participate. You could sit at home on your couch and you could just help us by actively participating in our social media campaign during this event. Or you could get off your ass and you could come with us and you could have a good time. I understand not everybody can do that. Some people have to actually work for a living. So I get it. But any level of support is welcomed and appreciated. And the event, so you're sitting here thinking, like, what can an event be? What would we do? It really needs to be a great time with great people. And so these people, you see the same people at all of these conferences. Imagine, Mage Titans, Meet Magento New York. We run into a lot of the same people every year at these events. And the only time we really get to see each other is under work scenarios. So can we, it's got to have some business purpose if we're going to get businesses to pay for it and make it a tax deduction. But it needs to be fun with some interesting people. That's number one. Number two, it needs to be a little bit silly, at least, so that people will share it and it would be interesting on social media. And it needs to be centered around creating content for social. So those are the three key ingredients that we really need to make this happen. And so with that, I have a proposal. And I was thinking a little differently, and we've come to this conclusion based on my original idea and some tweaks and feedback from the community, from you guys. So I definitely appreciate that. And Karen Baker at Shipper HQ had the idea for a Cannonball style event, which is what is the basis for what we're trying to do here. And before I get into that, I'm going to read the chat here and see what everybody's voting here. All right, so I've got a MageBallRun, I've got a CannonballGento, another CannonballGento here. There's already enough Mage stuff. All right, so Cal's trying to get me to say Nexus. I'll say Nexus as much as you want. This is brought to you by CannonballGento or MageBallRun may or may not be brought to you by Nexus. We'll see. Hopefully, they say I talked to Nexus, Cal, and they said if you would actually come and ride in the car and create content, they were in. That was their only requirement. Is literally no joke. If Cal's in, we're in. So there you go. No pressure. All right, so orange is so hot right now. I mean, I was orange a minute ago. I'm still a little orange here on the live stream. I apologize. I don't know. I could keep adjusting these lights, but then you guys just get to see me or see the backdrop while I walk around. But these lights can go orange or white. I'll try one more time. So if I take a little orange out of me there, maybe that'll help. All right. Orange is the new orange there from Ryan in the chat. All right, so it looks like we're 2-1 right now for CannonballGento, which I think was suggested by Ben Marks. Very smart individual. So we'll call it CannonballGento until we get the final tally on what you guys want to call this thing. But what I'm proposing is a 6-day event beginning on the Monday before Magento's Imagine. And we're going to start in, a suggestion I had was Portland, Oregon. That seems as good a place as any. I've never been to Portland, never been to the Pacific Northwest, so why not? And the event will start there. And what you need to participate, if you're going to actually show up and participate, is you need a car. Now, it could be your car, it could be a friend's car. You can get 8 people and rent a van or borrow a van or buy a van. I don't really care. You need a car. However you get the car, it could be a car you already own. You could fly in and buy a Pinto for $200 and see if it'll drive to Vegas. And if it dies, then rent a car. It does not matter what the automobile is. It can be as expensive or as cheap as possible. Obviously, the more fun and more interesting it is, the better. So you show up in Portland with a car, and we're going to leave Monday morning. And we're going to go down the West Coast. And this is a kind of a rough map here. I don't know if you guys can even see that map there. I apologize for not having any graphics pulled together. But we're basically going to hug the West Coast down to about Los Angeles and cut across to Vegas. The trip, typically with a Cannonball Run, it's about how fast you can get from one place to another. We're not going to do that. This is not about speed at all. There will be no incentives for being the first person to arrive anywhere. I don't want to do anything that is going to promote someone being silly or recklessly driving or anything like that. That's definitely not what we're after. What we're going to do is we're going to have events picked out all along this route. And during this route, we're going to do things and you're going to get points for them. And I've got some examples. We're still trying to solidify exactly what these point producing things are. I want it to be where you could probably do most of them, but maybe not all of them. And you kind of have to decide which ones you're going to do. But we're trying to limit the amount of travel in a day to roughly 4 to 5 hours, which means if you got up in the morning and you left and you went to the next place, that would give you 4 or 5 hours or 8 hours or, however long you want to commit to it, to doing the events and actually having some fun along the way. So with that, we're going to start in Portland. And, then we'd go, and let me see, the second one is like Grant Pass, and then we go to Crescent City, and then we work our way down to Fort Bragg, and we just keep going 4 or so hours down until we make our way to Vegas. So starting in Portland, and this is, again, these are just suggestions for events. We may add more. We may take some suggestions from people that are participating, and we've got to figure out the point structure. But for instance, Portland is known as America's bike capital. So a simple thing to get points may be posting a video on social media of your team riding bikes. And then you get, there's a company in Portland named Sock Dreams that uses the Magento platform. I believe it's Magento open source. But you get double the points if you're riding a bicycle in your video wearing Sock Dream socks. You get triple the points if you're riding your bike in front of the Sock Dream store in Portland, right? Little things like that. Some of them get more complicated, more difficult. Some of them are super simple. So I'm going to go to the chat here and see what everyone else is saying. All right, so Talesh has joined the chat here. Yeah, Talesh, we're going to go west. I've never really been up and down the West Coast. I've been to LA a couple of times, but it's fly in, fly out. I feel like that it would be something unique and different, and it just so happens there's interesting things all along the trip about 4 or 5 hours. The problem is if you come from the East Coast, you're going to have gaps, especially from like Texas to Vegas, where there's really not a whole lot to do. So the West Coast made a lot of sense for it. And Cal, if you want to take a convertible, any car is acceptable. Anything is acceptable. I do ask that you be safe. That's all we're asking for. So, once you're in Portland, another claim to fame in Portland is coffee and donuts. Voodoo Donuts is very popular there. So if you get points for taking a video of your team, getting a cup of joe from a local coffee shop. If you get, you can double the points if when the barista asks you, or barista here, I'm reading it, it's barista, right? Asks you for your name, you give the name of a previous keynote speaker at Magento. And so, a keynote speaker has to be, a different keynote speaker has to be on each of your team members' cups for you to get double points. And if you take a video of yourself at Voodoo Donuts eating the Memphis Mafia donut in memory of Elvis Presley, Viva Las Vegas, then you're going to get triple points. So lots of things like that. And we're going to do, just silly things. Just people enjoying themselves, enjoying the company, enjoying the people you with, and experiencing a little taste of the local culture all the way down the West Coast. Definitely no drinking and driving, Talesh. 100% out of the question. None of these events will be related to alcohol whatsoever. Now, what you do at night on your own time is up to you. I'll be drinking here on the live stream, but definitely not at this event. Portland is famous for microbrews, but again, can't risk it, right? We don't want to do anything that's going to harm anyone. We just want to have a good time. All right, so the second place we're going to go is down to Grant Pass, I believe, and I may have these in weird orders. Who knows? I'm just going through and kind of reading through my notes, but there's, you start getting down into redwood country. And so we'll do things like taking a video of yourself in the redwood tree that everybody drives through, right? And, there's a state park there. And so we'll do some things at the state park. Like there's a kiddie trail where you go on a treasure hunt. Take a video of yourself on the treasure hunt. You get double points if someone is dressed as Paul Bunyan on the trip. Right? I mean, little silly things like that. There's lighthouses along the way, so you get points for taking a video of yourself at the lighthouse, double points if you're in the lighthouse. All right, so I'm going through just kind of some of our notes here. I will type all of this up, and if you want, join the newsletter. The email list should be in the description of this video. If you want to be involved in this, or shoot me an email, hit me up on Twitter, wherever, get in touch with me somehow. I'm not that hard to find if you want to be on this email list, but I'm going to send these notes to everyone for you to review. I am trying to get some buy-in. We need about 3 cars to make this work. I'd love to have 30, but we need 3 to make it work, probably with at least 2 people in each car. Could be as many as you want in a car. We're trying to make this as cheap as possible for as many people to participate that want to participate. So if somebody else has a car, you want to chip in $100 for gas and throw a logo on the side of their car and ride with them, by all means, that is fine. We're not asking for sponsorship or buy-in. I probably will go try to find a sponsor or 2 to help with my car and its cost and have somebody ride with me. But that's not what we're looking for. And this is open to anyone. Another agency, I have no competitors, right? We'll fight over leads when we find them. This is something fun. I want everyone to benefit from it. I want everyone to benefit from the social media exposure. So it's open to anyone and everyone. But, we're going to go down to Fort Bragg, California. That's where the tree's at that you can drive through. There's also a glass beach with a lot of, I guess they used to dump glass there, but the sand and the salt water has eroded it. So you can, draw the Magento logo with the glass on the sand and take videos of that. We've also got, from there, we're going to head down to, let's see, down to San Francisco. You've got the Golden Gate Bridge and cable cars and Fisherman's Wharf and Alcatraz. We're going to do some fun events at places like Alcatraz and stuff. Different things, Fisherman's Wharf, taking some videos there. But the goal is everything has a point value, and then if you are a little bit sillier, it's double the points. And if you get incredibly silly or creative, it's triple the points. So continue going on down. I believe Magento had their headquarters in Campbell, California. I don't know if they're still there. Anybody that knows, let me know if the Magento headquarters are still in Campbell. I would love to do something there of point value. Can I get triple points if I could take a video of myself sitting in Mark Lavelle's chair or something? I don't know if Adobe's closed that down or if they're moved or what the deal is with that. But from there, we're going to head over to Las Vegas, which is about a 2.5-hour drive. And if you can, go into a casino that either still exists that Elvis played in and take a video of yourself singing Viva Las Vegas, you get points. If you wear an Elvis wig while doing it, you get double points. If you eat a peanut butter and banana sandwich while singing Viva Las Vegas in a casino that Elvis sang at, or the site of a casino that Elvis sang at, if they still don't exist, I don't even know, you're going to get triple points. So that's what I'm thinking here, guys. It's a point, just to summarize, just to recap, it is a point-based event. No rewards for arriving quickly. The reward is all in enjoying the journey and going to different places along the West Coast and doing it in a team setting to where there are 3 or more teams that you're relating to, spending time with. They can be from your same company. They can be from different companies. Matter of fact, I highly suggest if more than one person from the same company participates, they divide up into different cars. But that's not a requirement. We're trying to make it very low requirements, very low cost, very low barrier to entry. I understand that 6 days before Imagine is a high cost of entry already, and that there's not a lot of people that can do that. So hopefully the business you work for sees the value in it, sees the value in the exposure, sees the value in the relationships that we are trying to build, and will give you those days to participate, whether it's PTO or whether they're paying you to be there. That's really between you and the business you work for. We hope that folks will sponsor a car. Again, you can bring the corporate Ferrari, or you can fly in and buy a Chevette and throw some logos on it and tune it up and see what happens. Again, we're gonna ask that people be safe and careful, but I think it could be a lot of fun. Full disclosure, it's probably a terrible idea. It's probably a really bad idea. It's probably a complete and total waste of your corporate dollars to do it. But business is tough. I mean, we're all go all the time, and Magento Imagine's fun. I love the people that I meet there and that I see there, but we don't get enough time to spend together and do things. And so I think this would be a great opportunity to take it to the next level, to build some lasting memories and to have some fun. Someday when all of this business stuff is done and I've pushed this business as far as it can possibly go, and all of this is played out and we're retired sitting in our rocking chairs, it'll be things like this that we remember, reminisce about, and miss the most. Not the conference itself, not sitting in the exhibition hall working a booth, right? So I think it will be fun. I'm going to get to the comments here. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this, what you're thinking. Is it a terrible idea? Are you interested? Can you participate? These are all things that inquiring minds want to know. So I'm going to try to get back to the chat is moderately active here. We don't have a ton of people watching live, but this was a random impromptu live stream about a topic that may not interest everybody, but I do appreciate y'all showing up and helping me vet this idea. I see Talesh here mentioning the Nexus headquarters in Detroit. I keep seeing these guys. They've turned like a server rack or something into a smoker. I did think like that would be a good place to start from, and then maybe we could get them to cook us some barbecue. But there's just a whole lot of nothing, long stretches of nothing from there to Vegas. So it just didn't work out. So let's see. All right, so going through the comments here. Planking on a redwood tree. I don't know what the rules are. Can you climb a redwood tree? I'm not really sure if they allow that. But we are definitely open to ideas. Definitely open to ideas. Points if your passenger gets a photo of a whale in the Pacific. That's a great suggestion. Crater, make an impact. Take a selfie at Crater Lake. Again, I'll have to look and see exactly where that is. Not real sure. Unnamed SaaS platform logo in Death Valley. Adobe is in San Jose. Yeah, I think I heard that. And I thought I heard maybe that they had relocated some of the folks from the Campbell office to San Jose. So I'm not real sure if that office is even still open. I haven't got down the chat here to see if anybody knows. Yeah, definitely check and see if Nexus has a corporate Ferrari. I'll ride with you, and I'll pay to put my logo on on the side of it. Apparently, Laura Falco knows the Ukrainian Elvis Presley. Triple points. You're guaranteed to win the trophy if you get the Ukrainian Elvis Presley to ride in the car with you during this event. Almost guaranteed. West Coast Drive would be awesome. I think it would be a good time. I would enjoy it. Like I said, I've never done it. I've got a car I'm trying to get ready. We'll see. I tend to not have a lot of luck keeping cars reliable and running. And this one's been many years in the works, but it's almost finished. I don't know at this point if it's worth taking the risk, though. You ship the car all the way to Portland, and it's only at best been running for a few months. Who knows if that's a good idea or a bad idea? But the funny thing is bad ideas are oftentimes the most entertaining and fun ideas. Whether they're worth spending the money on or not, I don't know, but oftentimes the most fun. So what do you guys think? Like, is this something, Talesh, are you in? Are you in, Talesh? I need like Sunday, or we're going to leave. You're going to have to fly to Portland on Sunday. We're going to leave Monday from Portland, and we're going to drive to Vegas. We'll figure it out, whether you're in somebody's car, whether you're in our car, whatever. Talesh, are you in? I need to know. Cal, you're next. I'm calling you out, Cal. I need a commitment. I need to know we got to get 3 cars. So I think the folks at Shipper HQ were extremely interested. I've got several other people that have expressed interest. We'll see. I don't know exactly their level of participation at this point. But Peter Kraft, you're great at bad ideas. Well, this is a bad idea, and so you're gonna fly to Portland. You're gonna ride down with us. So Talesh is in, Cal is in. We got 3 people. Okay, now that's at least half as many as we need to make this work. Worst case, that's a car and a half right there if you put 2 people per car. I need 3 cars to really make it a competition. And I'm going to have a ridiculously gaudy 3-foot trophy made out of steel that you cannot possibly fly back in a suitcase. And I'm going to give it to the winning car, maybe even 2 of them. You could put it at your booth. You could tote it around. Whatever you need to do. I don't care. I agree, Cal. I think it's going to be a great idea. Peter, you're stuck in Ohio. I mean, I don't know, man. Ohio is no further from Portland than Alabama is. So I get it. I understand. No pressure. I understand if you can't make it. But it would be fun, and it'd be great to have you if you can work it out. So there you go. Cal. Bring a photographer. That's one thing I've been thinking about as well. I know Cal and I have talked about it a little bit, and I'm looking to maybe hire someone as a content director here at Jamerson to help me with, taking the live stream to the levels I want to, but I don't have time to, and more polished and produced videos. And of course, that person would probably tag along as well if I've got that position filled and that person hired by then. I want to create the social content that's going to go out on the social channels to dominate social media, but I also want to do a little more polished content around it as well. I'm trying very hard to go all out at this year's Imagine. This is really the first year I've got a little money to spend. We've got a booth at Imagine. It's about the size of this glass here. It's about the size of the ice ball in the glass. But we're going to go all out. We're going to try this event. I'm trying to have some really cool swag made. The problem with making something really cool is they want you to make 5,000 of them, and I need like 500 of them. But I tried to shoulder those costs. Apparently, we've got to work out the details, but I've got a soft commitment from Ben Marks that if I make an Adobe and Magento wedding cake, that he is going to tackle it on video, so we can do some fun stuff there. That's just classic right there. Like, that stuff you'll never be able to recreate, is Ben Marks tackling an Adobe Magento wedding cake. We might even be able to, and I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to keep the details secret until we need to reveal those. So I agree, Telesh, that it is a good idea to have someone in the car that is dedicated to creating content. And my car will be decked out. I'm going to put GoPros all around that sucker. There's going to be a GoPro mounted attached to each person in the car. We're going to mic the whole car up, and one person will be responsible for collecting that video and compiling it and creating videos on the fly. We're just going to try to dump an insane amount of content over those 6 days. All right, so let's see, just kind of reading the chat here. I also need you guys to help me spread the word. Like, let's get it out there. Let's find anybody that might be interested in this. Again, we've tried to make it as inexpensive as we possibly can. So if you know anybody, it's really easy for someone that's in the Pacific Northwest that might be going to Vegas for Imagine anyway. But it's open anyway. Like, literally fly in and rent a Honda Civic and make the drive. Like, it doesn't have to be over the top. You can go as crazy with it. Excuse me. I haven't even drank much, and I'm already starting to. You can get as crazy with it as you want to. So how many Magentans can you fit in your Imagine booth for your live vlog? With me in it, probably 2, 3 tops. I don't know yet. As like tackling the wedding cake, I was thinking like we could do that in my booth. That would be great. But then it's like, no, if you tackle a wedding cake in my booth, it's going to at least go 3 booths over. So that's not going to work out. We got to figure out the details of all of that. But these booths it's a serious commitment. A booth at Imagine, I'll leave it at that. For a company my size, it is a very, very serious commitment. So I'm excited about it. I think this is a big year for Imagine. It might be the final year for Imagine. That's another thing nobody's really talking about. We don't know. It literally could be the final Magento Imagine, and we could go out with an epic road trip to what might be the last time we get to do this. With Adobe taking over, I know this is the last year they have a commitment, or at least had a commitment to the win for the space. And so Adobe pretty much has free reign next year to do whatever they want to do, and they may choose to continue it. I'm not saying I have any inside info or implying that they're not, but it could be kind of blended into their conference, or it could be a completely different conference. It could be in a different location, a different venue, which I know Imagine's been at several venues in Los Angeles and Vegas, but you just don't know what's going to happen in the future. And so, people are always changing jobs and moving in and out of this community. So every year is the only opportunity to do something with this group of people. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. My wife has put in a ton of work. I wanted to thank you, Jill. I don't know if you're watching this or not. She's in the other room over there where I used to do my live streams. And she's put in a ton of work to think out the locations and try to space them out and come up with creative ideas for point making events. The whole wedding cake thing was also her idea. Not Ben Marks tackling the wedding cake, but doing a wedding cake was her idea, which led to the Ben Marks tackling the wedding cake. So, you give credit to who sparked the idea, even if their spark wasn't the exact thing that comes to fruition. All right, so reading the chat here. Cal says he'll pay for the cake if he can push Ben into it. I think Ben said he has a compulsion to want to tackle wedding cakes. And, I don't know if you guys are like this, but I have some similar compulsions. You're just like in a space where you're doing something or you're supposed to behave, and you just have this strong inner desire to not behave and see what happens. And I think that's kind of where Ben's compulsion comes from. And so you pushing him into it might not be the same. It might not scratch that itch quite as much as him just running and diving into a 3-tier wedding cake. But we'll have to figure out the details from that. Talesh says, imagine canceled. You heard it here first. Now you got to clarify, Talesh. You guessing? You got some inside information? Like what are you thinking? I really doubt that they're going to cancel a Magento conference. They might be a part of an Adobe Experience in Commerce conference, but there's going to be an e-commerce conference out of Adobe for sure. Ben comes up. What if Cal popped out of the cake before Ben tackled the cake and Cal? I don't know. It's just a suggestion. It's starting to make sense now. Starting to pull all the details together. Peter says, since I'm a carpenter that can't attend, I'll donate a wooden chair. Y'all can use it to ride Granny Beverly style through the West Coast. It might have to be a little bigger than a chair, but you make us a wagon, we'll throw an engine in it. Talesh says he is just spreading rumors on Imagine getting canceled. Talesh is just a troublemaker for those that don't know. I apologize for repeating unfounded rumors. I should check my sources more carefully in the future. So that's all I really had to say today. I just wanted to pop up, put this on video so that people can see it. I've got a lot of typing to do to get all the details written up. I'm going to send it to the folks in the newsletter, and I'm going to send it to the people that I've been communicating with about the event. But it's time to book travel. It's time to figure out how you're going to get to Vegas, and so I have to have buy-in to make it work. Luckily for us, it's a low commitment, and there's no commitment before we have to pull the trigger. Like either we got enough people and we do it, or we don't have enough people. And honestly, if we don't have enough people, I'm probably just going to road trip from here. I'm going to road trip and create a bunch of content regardless of what the rest of you folks do. I just thought I would try to share it with you. It's a lot of fun to me. I like drive. I prefer driving to flying. Maybe not, all the way across the country, but I'm a car guy. I like to be in cars. I'm not a real big fan of airplanes. All right, so just reading the chat here. Any questions, guys? I'm going to be on for a few more minutes here just to see if there are any questions, any thoughts, yay or nay, yes or no. It appears as though I've been going for 40 minutes already. Is that right? Like, man, I am really good at rambling. That is apparently my special talent. It is also why my whiskey is getting watered down. Yeah, this is almost as long as one of our normal live streams. I thought I'd been on for like 15 minutes or so. I'm like, how am I going to fill time? What am I going to talk about? And I just keep talking. That's the whole Peter Kraft is Googling pasties. Yeah, me too. Let's see what that. Let's Google it and see what the definition of pasties are. And if you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, then you're just not seeing the chat. I'm not even sure why pasties came up. I guess I missed that. I guess that's something to do with him not jumping out of the cake. Anyway, don't Google it. Just don't. Just don't. Just misspell it and try to Google pastries or something like that. Anyone going to stop at Weed, California? I don't know. I mean, if you've got something interesting that is non-detrimental to the don't do anything stupid or silly or harmful, that might interest points. But what we were trying to do is make it to where we start Monday and we make it Saturday. Like, we need to be in Vegas on Saturday, so that the winner is going to be announced hopefully at the Big Damn Run on Sunday. That's my goal. The trophy will be presented. I want all the cars that people are in. Let's go to the Big Damn Run. Let's, I don't know if they're having it in the same place, but they, it started in a parking lot last year. So let's go to that parking lot. Let's set the cars up. Let's make an event of it, and let's award the winner at that location. That's the thought. So, with that, we're trying to make it to where we can go as far as we possibly can, to where you're at distinctly different and interesting places but with about 4 hours travel, hopefully 5 hours max. I think some days maybe 5 hours of travel, some days maybe 2.5 hours of travel. It's about the best we could do to have kind of interesting stops all along the way. And I'm open. I'm taking suggestions as well on things 4 points, things that would be fun to do 4 points, and hopefully something that is tied to the local culture there. So if you stopped in Weed, California, which I don't know much about Weed, California, but I can make assumptions around what might be going on in Weed, California, and I'm not sure those are the right things for this event, but I'm open to suggestions. Make it fun, make it interesting, where it's good social content that would draw an audience of interactions to help spread the word of what we're doing here. And of course, we recommend that you dress with shirts and t-shirts and things like that for the sponsors. You tag the sponsors when you're creating your content. We want the sponsors to get the most out of it. And hopefully the sponsors participate. They got people actually here creating content for them. They can post it on their own channels, whatever. There's not a ton of rules. We're trying to not make it to where there's some big rigid structure. If you want to show up halfway through and drive the rest of the way because you can only get from Wednesday, well, we'll post exactly where we're going to be. You show up. You're going to be responsible for your own gas, your own transportation, your own lodging. We will post where we're going to be staying, but you could do it completely different. If you want points, you better do some of the events we've got outlined. That's all it really boils down to. It's a bit of an unstructured event that I'm trying to promote people to have a good time and create content. Yosemite is on the way also. I definitely need to look at that. Yosemite is awesome. So any other ideas on events, from Portland down to Vegas, please send them my way. No Tide Pod Challenge. We're definitely not doing any Tide Pod Challenge whatsoever. Ghost towns along that way, Talesh, send them. Talesh is full of great ideas. Talesh, I officially nominate you for the planning committee. Congratulations. It's you and my wife, Jill. Y'all will enjoy coming up with these ideas because Talesh is full of good ones. It's going to be a good time. Anyway, I'm going to call the live stream quits. Thanks, guys. This is the first live stream of 2019. We're going to do a lot more. I'm trying to get some infrastructure in place and some things organized, do a little more promotion. We're trying to take it up about 10 notches over the course of this year, not one notch. We've got all the equipment we need to do anything we want to do live stream or video wise. And so it's really about time to pull it all together and resources to make it happen. So, give me another few weeks, a month maybe, and you'll start seeing a lot more live streams and polished videos on this channel. So with that, I appreciate you watching. If you want to participate in this insane idea that I have, then ping me on Twitter, DM me, find me on LinkedIn, TJ Gamble, eCommerceaholic on just about every social media platform. Post it in the comments of this video, and I'll reach out. We will make it happen. Again, it's for Imagine 2019, the week leading up to it. Any ideas on how to make this event more useful to sponsors, to you, make it more open for more people to participate? I am wide open to those ideas, but they've got to get nailed down pretty soon, pretty quickly, because we have to have buy-in from the participants. So thank you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks when we start the live streams back up.